What's up, Chief? It's Mirza here, and in today's video, I wanted to do a bit of a transfer guide to teach you guys how I go about selling my players in FM. I like to categorize the players I sell into 3 categories, so that is kind of how the structure of this guide will be. We will go through each category, what sorts of players belong in that category, and how I go about selling players in each category. That really might be a YouTube record for the most times the word category has been used in 5 seconds. Anyways, without further ado, let's just jump into it. In this video, I'll be using Forest in my Journeyman save. We are in Season 9. I stream it daily. I'll leave a link down below. Please feel free to join. We have a great community that we're building over there. The reason I'll be using Forest in this video is because they went into administration a couple seasons ago in this save, and that is when I joined them. They took a $200 million loan, and they were in a lot of financial trouble, which meant that I have to sell. As you see, this past summer in my save, even though I was in the Champions League last season, I only spent $94 million and brought in 289. And even after that, as you see, our finances on September 9th, only a couple days after the transfer windows closed, is negative $8 million. I've also been doing a good job with the wages. We only have the 11th highest wage budget. I have seen Tom FM also had the same issue in a video with Bournemouth, who was also in around 200 million pounds in debt. So I'm sure that he can relate to this. The first type of sale is going to be the sort of player that is going to get an offer from a club that is too much of a step up where you cannot try to convince them to stay, or the offer is way too good for you to reject. A great example of this is somebody like Harry Gray, who is a club legend for me. He has been playing for me ever since I took over Forest. He was my first signing, and really a 20+ goal a season striker in all competitions. If you look, he always scores 20 more or more. A very, very good striker, but the sort of offer I got on stream for him was way too good to turn down. Conference League is going to be a lot of fun. Oh, child, what we saying? Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to play 20 games, so this 120 is very achievable. Profit from next. I wish I could just remove that and ask for a little bit more, but yeah, I'm going to accept this. When it comes to getting offers that are too good to turn down, for my specific example with Harry Gray, it was non-negotiable. But even if it is negotiable, I would recommend to just take the offer, because if you try to renegotiate it, they could pull out and never offer again. And the gains anyways from your renegotiations are going to be marginal relative to the value that's already there. The other thing you need to consider, if the offering club is a lot better, or if the player is really interested in going, which Harry Gray was, is, you know, the untold risk of rejecting it and him being really upset with your decision and just ruining the locker room dynamics as well. In our other categories, I will show you how to negotiate and what you want to look for in a negotiation when you're selling, and how you want to structure your deals so that they end up in your favor. But for these sorts of deals, I would actually recommend staying away from negotiating too much. The next transfer types are players that I call sunk costs, or players that you want to sell. And this is where, you know, the majority of the tough negotiating takes place. A player this past summer that I was trying to move on actively was Kusanov, because he was getting older. He's 30 in my save. And if you see, it says that I sold him for $30 million, but I've worked some clauses out that give me another 15 million. So, you know, getting another 50% of the transfer value that's shown. As you see, the clauses are, you know, another $10 million if Kusanov makes 20 league appearances, which he's already made 14, and it is January 2nd, so halfway through the season, and $5 million in 2 installments of 2.5. I totally forgot, my Forest team is actually under transfer embargo, and I wanted to go on this screen, and I couldn't go on this screen at all because we're under an embargo. So I've had to switch to a fresh save to be able to, you know, show you how I negotiate. Yes, in my stream save, I have $200 million worth of debt, and we are under a transfer embargo. It's something I've never had to deal with before. So I put the most common clauses and additional fees that teams put on. They'll usually come in with a flat upfront fee and some sort of installments. Plus, either after league appearances or after international appearances, they'll also try to add a fee. And if the player's young enough, they'll put some sort of percentage of profit from next sale and buyback price. So it definitely wouldn't apply to like a 30-year-old Kusanov, but if the player's, you know, 24 or younger, I'd say, then there's definitely a possibility that those 2 clauses would be put on as well. So how do you deal with this? So it doesn't even matter if the player is young, unless he's a super young player and he's being bought by, you know, PSG and you're kind of a feeder club. the first thing I do is take off the percentage of profit from next sale and get the money now, in terms of, you know, upping the current offer and just making that clause go away, because teams will be more willing to pay more if you make that go away. When it comes to international appearances, you got to do a quick analysis of what team the player plays for. So Kusanov plays for Uzbekistan. He's gonna get the 10 appearances very, very quickly. So I would actually maybe try to sneak some more money from this clause. But then if you have somebody who's, I don't know, English or German or something like that, then maybe I would try to actually not even include this clause and bring in the after league appearances clause, or try to just up the installment amount. So, you know, again, for somebody like Kusanov, maybe I try to get sneaky more money, which again would be upping this maybe to 20 games and upping the amount by $1 million, $2 million. I'd say maybe like 30-40% relative to the original offer. And you will definitely get some more dollars and millions from whoever's buying from you. When it comes to league appearances, especially if you have an older player, I'm never a fan of the 50 appearances, because that takes a while. That can take 3-4 seasons, or can, you know, never kick in for any player. That's why Kusanov was down to 20 appearances. That's the maximum I like doing. 30 maybe if it's a really young player, but really 20 appearances or less is where I feel comfortable with the after league appearances fees or clause. And this is where I try to also keep this clause at a minimum, try to honestly lower this and bring up the installments, or for somebody who plays a lot of international games, maybe even up the 3.5 million even more. Speaking of installments, you got to understand that installments is guaranteed money. You'll definitely get it. You'll just get it later. So if you are not in a lot of financial trouble or immediately need the money, this is where you can sweeten the deal. You know, let's say I've upped a lot of my requirements, removed a lot of what they wanted in terms of negotiations. Maybe I'd bring the amount down to 22 million and up the installment by even more. Maybe bring it like 7 million, and a team will be willing to pay that, because they'll owe it in the future. They're way more willing to deal with somebody who takes away the upfront fee and asks for more fee in the future. And on the question of which installment should you do 6 monthly, 12 monthly, that's up to you. I like to mirror how I buy players, which is I use 12 monthly and I do 3 installments when I buy. So when I sell, I also do the same, which means, you know, at the end of every season, you get one payment, as a 6 monthly is, you know, semi-annual payment. I only do that, you know, just to mirror the finances and have it the net transfer that impact each other at the same time. One more underrated feature that you should definitely use is talking to the agent about market interest, just to get a gauge of what the value is looking like from interested parties. So I always use the keen button that we're looking to sell, and doesn't just say we're desperate to sell or anything. And, you know, if there is somebody that is out there willing to give an offer, you kind of get an idea. So like $19 million for Augusto Robena here. And then you can totally pull out and say, actually, we're good, or invite them to offer. And from there, you can actually negotiate further to get a higher value, or totally renegotiate and get more installment money, as we discussed earlier, or etc. If we get desperate and need to, you know, offer via transfer room, my recommendation is to not try to transfer list the player and like by this checking off, and give us a specific amount, let's say 25 million here, and hit the offer player. And, you know, if you get no offers, constantly just keep bringing it down and keep offering. So like maybe do 24 million or 23 million and keep bringing it down by 1 or 2 million until you do get an offer. And then if you're desperate, then yes, transfer list, use intermediary, etc. You will definitely get the least money that way though. Real quick, if you're enjoying the video and getting some use from it, please make sure to give it a like and to subscribe to the channel. The last transfer category, and dare I say my favorite, is what I like to call the AI being dumb. This usually happens with your young players, and that's because whatever team is giving you an offer is just infatuated with their potential, or like how good they are as a youth player, but you're not really seeing the potential, or you know that they're not good at all. So my number one tip would be to try to get all the maximum fees upfront. So that would mean through the actual upfront fee or the installments that you get. So no after league appearances, international appearances, percentage of profit, or anything like that. A great example I got from the past summer stream is Cartel Denilik. He was a player that I had, and I was able to get $11 million for a 20-year-old who has these stats. Oh my God, bro. These guys are idiots, brother. $11 million to that guy. As you see, I immediately took the per league appearances, percentage of profit, all those clauses away and just asked for more money up front and more installment money, because I know he doesn't have much potential. I know he's not going to grow to be even like maybe a League 2 player at best. So I just want to get that $11 million an hour, and that's going to be the maximum transfer value that he's going to have for his entire career. So overall, when the offer is too good to turn down, or the club is too big, the step up is too big, the player really wants to go, try to get a lot of money up front and make the league appearances, you know, maybe 20 or 30, so that they hit fairly quickly, especially if you're not in a pinch. If you really got to sell a player, talk to the agent to get a gauge of the value, and then try to be mindful of the player's nationality and get the most money up front with minimal league appearance fees. And if the AI really wants a player who has no potential and is really not good, then try to milk all that money up front and get rid of all the percentage of sales. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you want more guides and videos, and let me know what sorts of videos you want down below. Take care, everybody. Peace.